we continue our month-long awareness campaign on the fight to defeat Duchenne muscular dystrophy. Each Tuesday this month is called International Tuesday. It's the global effort to defeat Duchenne that we're highlighting on Tuesdays through the month of September. With organizations like Jesse's Journey around the world. And this being Tuesday, September 7th, it's World Duchenne Awareness Day. We'll talk more about that in a minute, but we welcome who better than Elizabeth Vroom. Elizabeth Vroom is the parent of an adult son, but she is also the founder of a parent project in Amsterdam and Holland. And she is also the founder, or co-founder, I should say, of the World Duchenne Organization. Elizabeth, we're pleased to have you on the show today to talk about World Duchenne Awareness Day and all that goes with that and the united effort around the world. What is the World Duchenne Organization?
First of all, thank you for having me. The World Duchenne Organization is a group of, it started, in fact, with a handful of parent projects, muscular dystrophy. So in the late 90s, in several countries, parent projects started, and then we decided that together we would be stronger. So in the early years of this century, we came together with the existing organization, which were by that time only 6 or 7, and decided to set up United Parent Projects. That's how we called it by that time, with the goal of learning from each other, helping each other, and also the fact that we are stronger together. Well, that goal is still there. We changed the name into World Duchenne Organization, as meanwhile we have 50 members in really all continents, which is amazing, I think, and all wonderful people with wonderful let's say, challenges in their countries. So our goal is still the same, making a better world for boys and men and girls with Duchenne by improving care, by working on drug development and really playing our part there, but also kind of to fight for a better life.
Yeah, talk to us about the united part, because I think that's a critical element. Jesse's Journey is a proud member of the World Duchenne Organization. And I know what's interesting with the WDO, you spoke about all of the organizations around the world and having 50 members, but some are very, very small organizations in smaller corners of the world. And yet then you've got organizations like Parent Project out of the US, a very large organization, but yet everyone comes together to try and solve the same conversation and the same things that are happening around the world.
Yeah, well, it doesn't mean that the smaller countries do a worse job, let's say. So they have their own challenges, and it's incredible how some people are capable in under bad circumstances to kind of solve the challenges in their countries. Yes, in fact, it's an interesting story, as this whole effort kind of started in Canada, because Parent Project Muscular Dystrophy US organized a meeting in London, Ontario in 1994, and by the end of 1994 they organized another meeting, and I was there, and in fact it started there by saying we need money for research, because you can't imagine now, with so many companies working on drugs for Duchenne, that in 94 nobody was there, you know. And we asked the scientists why nothing is happening. It's the first disease where we know what is the missing protein, what is the deletion, and why are you not working on a cure? And they said, well, money is lacking. And then they said, and then we asked, like, how much money do you need? And they said, like, $40 million before the year 2000, and then we will really make a difference. That was the idea then. We know now it was not that simple. But so I was sitting there with all these American parents, and I thought, like, the US is 20 times bigger than the Netherlands, so it means that 2 million is for me. So I went home, founded the Dutch version, only 2 months, I think, or 1 month after the Americans did it, and started to raise funds for research. And then Pat Furlong of PPMD, and I went together to Italy, to Filippo Bucella, because he was online, so we found him. To start next, and so it rolled out, let's say. Yeah, but it started kind of with a meeting in London, Ontario. Yeah.
Yeah, and you talk about research, and of course, Jesse's Journey was founded on that mission alone. John and Jesse started Jesse's Journey in 1995 with the first big fundraiser that they did to raise $1 million for research. And $1 million at that time seemed like a lot of money coming out of one organization in Canada. And yet we know, as you said, it was going to take much more than that. And today we're well over 13 million in total funding to research. But around the world, the global commitment has been huge. What advances have you seen, Elizabeth, in research and development of drugs and treatments around the world because of the united effort on research funding?
Well, I think a lot of research was funded by patient organizations to understand, to have a better understanding about the disease. Only know which protein you missed, which was like in 95 was not enough. So their patient organization have played a role. Then we have set up companies or helped to set up companies. The first companies were really also sponsored or got a subordinated loan for patient organization. I think we have played an important role and successful role in outcome measures, in kind of, for example, the outcome measures for the upper limb, they were not there. It was really patient organization initiative, in this case, the Dutch, who developed that or sponsored to develop that, and is still till today the owner of the PROM. So I think we and others did also similar things. You know, it's not only us, but it is really, we made sure that what you measure in the clinical trial, we've been fighting for that, is really improving the life of the children and adults, if applicable. Yeah.
Speaking about today, what are some of the challenges you see around the world as it relates to Duchenne?
Well, what we see is, first of all, access to new drugs. That is very, if we only see in Europe what are the differences, and also the fact that, for example, Translarna is available in most European countries, where the Sarepta drugs, let's say, are more available in the US and I think also Canada. So already that, and then the families in other countries, some have access, some have not. So I think access to drugs, also when other drugs will be developed, that is a major issue. And we should fight that together, I think, because the decision is taken on a national level, right? So the authorization is FDA, EMA, or the Japanese organization, or the Australian. Israel looks at both agencies, but then to have real access, you also need the reimbursement in your country. And there we see huge differences, which is really painful to see.
Yeah, certainly, you know, this is as much about advocacy as anything else at this point, and advocating on behalf of the community. And that, again, is where the united effort comes to the forefront, I think, both in our own country, but then around the world in bringing people together on this common cause. Let's talk about the World Duchenne Awareness Day. It is September 7th every year. Why September 7th?
Well, you know, 7/9 is the 97 exons of the gene, which is causing, or in which gene the mutation takes place, which causes the disease. So it has to do everything with the gene 79.
So this is the 8th annual. Talk to us about the importance of having sort of that global day around the world, with everybody sort of sharing and creating that awareness around Duchenne on this day.
Yeah, well, what I think is it has really become a global wave. It's not only our members, it's also parents and clinicians and companies. Everybody who's involved in Duchenne is aware of that day and does something. So to me, it's important that everybody feels united. There's no kind of claim on that day. It's our day. All Duchenne families can feel this is our day. And then I think what we have done, and we started that, I think the second or third year, is also to include a theme for the community itself. So not only raise awareness to the outside world and say, we are Duchenne, this is Duchenne, but also to say what are the subjects which deserve more attention, awareness in our own communities and a little bit wider communities. And we had several subjects. Last year it was Duchenne and the brain. This year it's adult life with Duchenne. And these are really subjects that deserve more attention. And also some countries pay a lot of attention and they have experts. and other countries not. So that is where we can help each other, unite, share information, organize events, and so on. Yeah.
The good news, I guess, when we speak about Duchenne is that we can talk about adults living with Duchenne today. You are the mother of an adult with Duchenne. Talk to us about what you've seen in terms of that development over the period of time where young men are living longer today with this disease, but the importance of making sure that we're highlighting the living with Duchenne as an adult today.
Yeah, well, in fact, there are different chapters there. One chapter is that at a young age, very young age, you should start to prepare your child for adult life. Until today, there's a lot of boys who grow up without expectations. So if nobody has expectations about your future, you don't have expectations, you don't know what to look for, what to do. So I think it is important that families really make them resilient, not overprotect them, all that. There's a lot to do there. Then, of course, there's the transition to adult life, not only adult care, but then comes the problem that too often people think like, well, if you just go from a pediatric cardiologist to an adult cardiologist and so on, you duplicate what is done in the younger ones, then you are there. But that's absolutely not true. The care for the older boys, man, is different. They have different problems, different issues, and we don't have a good setting for that. There's not hardly any good clinical setting to kind of work on all these aspects, but also we don't have guidelines for this. And I think the nice news is that today we will show that thanks to Professor Ross Quinn-Livin, there's now a document, care considerations for the adults. And I think we as patient organizations should start to disseminate that, to work in our countries with our clinicians, that also that part is improving for adult men. But I think it's the whole spectrum. It's not only the medical care. There's a lot of other issues there as well. Participation, psychosocial, and so on. Yeah.
As you look down the future with Duchenne and where we are in research, development of drugs, development of treatments, talk to us about your hope for Duchenne in the years to come.
Oh, I definitely hope that there will be not only drugs which are effective enough to easily pass through the market authorization system and the reimbursement, because the better the effect, the easier it will be to have access. That's easy. I hope that newborn screening will be in place in many countries, or preferable everywhere, because the younger you know, the earlier you can help the children, but prepare them and also support them, and that's super important. And then last but not least, I also think that we would like, in fact, to change the society around the globe, that it's more inclusive, that when you are in a wheelchair, whether it's Duchenne or SMA or whatever, that you can have a job, that that employers and other people are more willing to make adaptations for you and so on. So it's the whole thing from diagnosis, drug development, good care, and society, having a good life where you can fully participate.
Absolutely. We've come a long way, but there's so much more we can go as a society in so much of what you just said. So, Elizabeth, thank you very much. We really appreciate you taking the time from your home in Amsterdam today. It's a pleasure to be partnered with the World Duchenne Organization. So just want to thank you for that and the opportunity for us to be united with organizations around the world. I know that we learn from that. And as you said, it is about learning and sharing our resources together. So I think we are stronger together, as you mentioned earlier. It's World Duchenne Awareness Day, and we can't thank you enough for joining us. From the World Duchenne Organization, Elizabeth Vroom, thank you very much.
And thank you for being part of our global organization, all you're doing. Have a good day.
Thank you, Elizabeth. You too. Take care. Bye-bye.